Ever since the India-Canada diplomatic row, the much-awaited meeting of External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who is in Washington, with his American counterpart, Secretary Blinken, happened on Friday night. And this was when the world was expecting that the two sides would probably discuss something on the issue of India-Canada diplomatic row, what kind of intelligence sharing has been from the US side, and what all have been bad among between the India and Canada relationship. But the press release that comes from the State Department does not suggest anything that the two leaders discuss about the issue, especially on the Canadian-Indian bilateral relationship. They did discuss, however, about the US President's recent visit to India and the warm reception that he was received, India-US bilateral relationship, and how this has become more important, and what are the areas where the two sides needs to invest more and explore more. They also discussed about the infrastructure projects, the corridor that is being planned from India to Europe via West Asia. Also the biofuel alliance that was created on the sidelines of G20 meeting, but apparently there has been no mention of any talk that the two sides had on India-Canada row. Apparently it has been told in the US media and Canadian media that the Five Eyes group that consists of US, UK, Canada, Australia and New Zealand, they were gathering intelligence inputs on the basis of which Canada has leveled the charges against Indian agency's role in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. But US side has denied anything, sharing with India. Canadian side has also not provided anything substantial on the basis of which India could establish any link of its agency's role in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. And so far, the status quo of the case remains where it was. That is, when Justin Trudeau went up in the Parliament, stood up on the floor of the House, and then he leveled those grave charges against India that has ever since pushed downward the India-Canada bilateral ties. The Khalistani elements, which have been a long, thorny issue between the two sides, they have become more aggressive and emboldened ever since those statements were made by the Justin Trudeau government. And we have seen some protests also happening by these Khalistani elements in the around Indian missions in Canada. Now, USA, which has been suggesting that those charges or those allegations by the Canadian authorities are very grave and serious, and India should cooperate in the investigation. On those statements, India's standard reply has been that they want to cooperate, but for that they need to have some substantial evidence or anything that could provide them with some information. There are apparently news that the US intelligence did provide some context on the basis of which Canadian side concluded the role of Indian agencies, and those allegations were made. In that sense, there was apparently this whole expectation that the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Secretary Blinken will discuss about the India-Canada row, or what kind of intelligence sharing has been, what has been India's stand, how the issue of transnational killing is seen in this current world order, what kind of sovereignty and territorial integrities violation this step could be if proven right. So all this issue, there has been no official word whether they came or not, but some media sources in USA are saying that they did talk about Canada issue. What kind of conversation happened, what kind of role US sees for India in the cooperation, what kind of information India asks from the US side on this, that remains to be seen. Meanwhile, we know that there has been a lot of Khalistani extremist agenda that is being propagated on the US soil as well. We have seen Indian mission in San Francisco also being attacked in the past. Twice at least. There was second time the US authorities were a bit alert, and there was barricading around the mission's building and to ensure the safety and security of the Indian diplomats. So India side has also raised the flag. They have expressed their concern about these anti-India sentiments being propagated, these secessionist movements that are being allowed to flourish on the soils of US, Canada, in UK and in Australia most of the time. And the countries, if they consider India as a strategic partner, if they think that the intelligence sharing on terrorism and other transnational crime should be shared with each other, there should be cooperation on fight against terrorism, then these elements which clearly are threat against India's national interest and national security should also be dealt with same parameter. This has been India's demand. What kind of conversation as Jaishankar had with Secretary Blinken, we'll have to wait for that, because more information will come as to what all did transpire during the bilateral conversation of the two foreign ministers.